Hi guys, hi everyone, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. I'm Haas. I'm joined by my mate Jordan, and today we have a very special video for you, and that is the team selection for Game Week 1. So as we all know, the deadline is on Friday, and yeah, we thought we'd do our team selection because it's not long to go now. We're very exciting times, not long to start the season, and we thought we'd reveal our teams. So I've got a lot to discuss. If you just joined the stream, guys, don't forget to smash a like button and also subscribe if you're new. But before we get started, just got to ask you, Jordan, how you doing? How is everything with you?
Yeah, everything's good here. Eagerly excited for the Premier League to start now. Not long, only 2 days to go, and I imagine everyone else is excited as well for it to start over again.
Yeah, just got some comments coming in. Chrono's in the chat. Welcome, mate. Never give up. Welcome to you. Good evening, mate. And Crosberg says hi, guys. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. And yeah, if you've just joined, don't forget to smash the like button. So yeah, it is a team selection video today. And yeah, let's get into it pretty much. So I'll bring up my team first, and then I'll talk you guys through with what I've planned to go with for Game Week 1. There is a slight there is a couple of doubts with one or two players at the moment, but I'll show you guys what I mean. So as you guys can see on the screen, I hope this is clear enough. This is what I've gone with at the moment. So as you guys can see, I've decided to play back five. I was actually, when the game originally launched, I was on a back five, and then the closer we got, I switched to a back four. But then I think for the last week, I've been on a back five, and I think I am staying with the back five, guys. Let us know in the comments what formation you're playing this season as well, guys. But I think the back five is most appealing to me, and I think I'm pretty locked on my back five, if I'm being honest. So let's bring it up what I'm doing. So in goal, I've gone with Ramsdale, who's a 5 million goalkeeper. I think I had Edison in there for a bit, but I like the Ramsdale, goalkeeper move because I think he's at 5 million. He has decent fixtures, and I also wanted to cover Arsenal, so I'm very happy with that pick. And I think he's going to be my goalie for the start of the season. I think he's one of the more locked players I have in there. And yeah, I think Ramsdale is a good option. I know his ownership's crept up now as well, so I see him in a lot of teams, and I think it's a good pick, guys. Then I've gone with the back five, which is Robertson, Trent, Cancelo, Reece James, and Perisic. Now, obviously, it is quite template, the back five, or the whole team in general is a bit template. So I've chose to go Robertson over Diaz, which is a big talking point because obviously we will come on to that when we see Jordan's team. But I have decided to go with Robertson because I just think he's 1 million cheaper than Diaz, and I think he's pretty much guaranteed to start every game. He's also very good at attacking threat, as well as good for clean sheets. And at that 1 million cheaper, I just think I'm going to keep him ahead of Diaz, and I think he's a very good option. So, and his also ownership is only 12%, I believe. So, well, less than 12%. So Robertson for me is a great pick. But yeah, guys, let us know in the chat, Diaz or Robertson, because that is another big discussion talking point among the FPL community that we're going to speak about today as well. Moving on to Trent. I've also got Trent in my team. I think this is a fairly obvious pick. I'm not going to discuss Trent too much because if you don't have Trent, what you guys doing? Just put him in your team and then, yeah, worry about it later because Trent is in my team 100%. And I think there shouldn't be any discussion over that pick. So, yeah, Trent's in. Cancelo also, I think I wanted to have a Man City defender. Ideally, I'd like to have two, but I don't know how I'd fit it in. Maybe Kyle Walker if Man City don't sign a wing back because they were linked with Cucurella, but that looks like it's not gonna happen anymore. So Walker could be a decent option, but yeah, Cancelo's in just because to cover Man City's defense. He's also a great attacking option. going forward, and he's good for clean sheets. Man City have a very good start to the season in terms of fixtures, so he's in there for me. And then covering off the rest, Reece James. Reece James is a bit of an interesting one for me at the moment, if I'm being honest, because with Reece James, I think I'm not 100% on him just because I want to see what Chelsea do, but he's one that I could change. But for now, he's in my team. I've left him in there, but after this draft, guys, I will go on to a section where I show you the tinkering I'm planning to make. But at the moment, this is what I'm thinking going with. And then Perisic, as we know, 5.5 million defender. He looks like he should start the season. That's the hope anyway. He did play in the last preseason game, and he did play quite a few minutes. So yeah, Perisic is in, and I think he's also a good option to have in there. And this is a premium back five. And big at the back was the chat, and I haven't really swayed away from it. I did for a sec when I was going to play 4-4-2, but as we get closer to the deadline, guys, I think big at the back's one that I think there's more value in the defenders for me anyway. Jordan might disagree because obviously we'll come on to his team in a sec. But yeah, I've gone with the big at the back. And at the moment in the midfield, I've gone with Salah. Another one that is a non-negotiable for me. He's in my team. And I think, with Salah, where do I start? He's probably the best player in the league. He's got over 200 points for 5 seasons in a row. I think he's a no-brainer to have in, personally, for me. I know I've seen people discussing, can you go without Salah? I don't think that's the way I'll be going anyway. I think you have to have him in your team. So Salah's in, and yeah, for me that's no-brainer. He's locked. Moving on is the way it gets a bit interesting now. I've got Bailey of Aston Villa and Martinelli. I've chose to go with Bailey over Neto because he's at 0.5 million cheaper. And speaking to some Aston Villa fans that have watched Aston Villa a lot more closely than I have, I've been told that he looked very good in pre-season, and Gerrard could start with him for the start of the season. So I just think with those with his pre-season performances, especially against Man United when he did get the goal against them, I think he looks pretty good. And at our 5 million option, I mean, there's not much in that price bracket, so I think Bailey's in. And Martinelli, who I do believe is the best 6 million option in the game. I expect a big season from Martinelli. I think he could go up another level, and I do really like him as an option. So he's in my team. Arsenal have great fixtures, and I think you should have at least one Arsenal attacker anyway. As you can see, I've got 2 in my team. And then the front 2, maybe it's boring. You've seen it a lot probably in drafts, but it is Jesus and Haaland. Jesus, what is Jesus' ownership, Jordan, at the moment?
His ownership at the moment is 73%.
So yeah, there you go. 73% ownership for Jesus, I believe, is the highest ever for a player in Game Week 1, which is pretty mad when you think about it. Jesus is in my team because fixtures look good. I mean, if you back against Jesus, you've got to be quite brave, obviously, because his ownership is very, very high. And I think if he does score against Palace on opening day, if you're not involved in that, then it could hurt your rank also. But Jesus was a player that I was going to have in my team anyway from Game Week 1. I think he's slightly underpriced. I think FPL, the pricing's been pretty good this year, but I think Jesus is one player that you can tell because his ownership is so high, he could have been at least 8.5 to 9 million to give it a bit more of a discussion, because at 8 million he's the same price as Saka, so it's kind of a no-brainer to get him in at that price bracket. So yeah, he's one I do believe is price cheap, but that's a whole nother conversation. And then yeah, to complete the team, I've got Haaland in there at the moment. There was a bit where I was contemplating getting Kane in, but no, I just think Haaland is the better option because I know Kane's got a great fixture in Game Week 1, but Haaland plays Bournemouth in Game Week 2, and because I'm not going to captain Harry Kane in Game Week 1 anyway, because I plan to go with Salah, I just think I'd rather get Haaland in because I'm going to captain Haaland game week 2 if he does well in that first game. So that's my reasoning behind going Haaland over Kane. I just think Kane is good if you're going to captain him against Southampton, which I wasn't going to do anyway because I believe Salah is the best captain option for game week 1. And then just to round off the team, I've also got Danny Ward on the bench, who we will speak about because I think it's just been confirmed before we went live. Kasper Schmeichel has left Leicester, and Danny Ward looks like is going to be the number 1 goalie for Leicester. So at 4 million, you get a starting goalkeeper, which isn't very common at a team like Leicester. And also, they also signed a backup goalie. Forgot his name. What was his name? The backup goalie they signed from Leicester. His name just.
Yeah,
Iverson. Was it Iverson?
I think so. His name's escaped my.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Chrono, in the chat. It says Iverson. Yeah. They've signed Iverson, who's also 4 million. So Leicester have 2 4 million goalies. One of them is definitely going to play, obviously. So there's one option there to rotate goalkeepers maybe this year. But I've gone with Ward because I think he probably will start. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. Neto is also in my bench, who is a obviously he's quite highly owned as well, a bit template, but with this draft it gives me a bench option with Neto, which is decent. But I will come on to guys later on. I'm not so sure about having Neto as a bench. I might just downgrade him to a 4.5 and spread the money back into my team. I've got Andreas and I've got Archer. So yeah, nothing in the bank. This is a £100 million team. Let me know, guys, in the comments what you think of my team at the moment with a 5-3-2. Do you guys like the big at the back? Do you think I'm missing anyone? Is there anything you'll change? But at the moment, I think that's what I'm going with. I know it's quite template. A lot of high-owned players in there. But I think it's a long season, so I'm not worried about picking players who I think will do well. I think there's going to be we're going to get a lot of opportunities later down the line to go different and be different, like get differential players in. But at the start, I think I'm quite happy with this. But I will come on to after Jordan's team. I will tinker this team around, and because literally I sent this team to Jordan yesterday, and he made all the graphics. And then today morning, I was thinking there's 1 or 2 players I might want to change again. So who knows where I'm going to be at come Friday, but I'm definitely going to go with something like this, big at the back. And yeah, but before we move on to your team, Jordan,
yeah,
can you take some comments if that's okay?
Yeah,
quite a few comments coming in.
Just to read out, because there's so many that said hello and good evening. Hello to everyone that's joined the chat and who has commented on that for us. Thank you. We got a comment from Elliot who says 2 days to go, absolutely buzzing. Yeah, we are as well, buzzing for the Premier League to start. And Brian says he has the exact team you have.
I'm going to change my team now then. Yeah, but I'll probably will change it though. But yeah, it's quite popular. I think if you're going to play a back 5, I think some of these defenders are pretty much nailed in most back 5 teams. So yeah.
We have a comment from Elliot. 4-4-2 for me. Not sure about Chelsea and Spurs defense.
Fair enough. As you will see, I'm having the same doubts potentially with Reece James. But yeah,
we've had very similar doubts with especially Chelsea defense. We got a comment from Nanjay. He says, "Big up from Trinidad and Tobago, guys. Hope you both have a good season."
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nanjay. We got Krogsberg, who says, "Back 5 here too, but with my team, I have 1 mil in the bank. That can be useful in case of price rises."
Yeah, it could be. I don't like having too much money in the bank personally. I just like to, I like to use it basically so I get the best team as I can. But maybe 0.5 is better to leave in there. But if you've got the team and you've got 1 million left and you're still happy with your team, then fair enough, man.
We got Michael Parks here. He says, "Gonna roll out a 4-4-2. Raya, Robertson, Cancelo, Alexander, Trippier, Salah, Bailey, Mount, Martinelli, Jesus, Kane. Substitutes Andreas, Williams, Taylor, Olsen at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. If we just quickly get a few more comments in, Jordan, and then we're gonna move on to your team.
Yep. We got a comment here from Hamza. He says, "I'm considering putting in
Malacia.
Malacia. What do you guys think?"
Obviously that's the new signing that signed for Man United. I think for me it was at 4.5 million. For me, he's still a wait and see. I just think there's more options with better fixtures. If I was going to go for a Man United player, I'd prefer someone like Sancho or Rashford, probably not their defense.
Yeah, I agree. Probably more the attacking sense of Man United I'd prefer rather than the defence, because obviously that's what their worst position was last season, and we have wait to see if that's improved this season. So I'll say I'll be holding out on bringing in any defence for Man United.
I mean, Diego Dalot, I've seen he's quite popular as well, as a Man United fullback that a lot of people have in their teams actually. Let me just take some comments as well. A lot of people are saying Robbo in the chat as well, because Jota might be back. Some people are saying, but I still think Diaz will probably start the season, guys. Okay, someone got Shash Wat in the chat as well. Saka and Bailey, or Mount and Martinelli. I think Saka and Bailey probably. What do you reckon, Jordan?
I'll go for the same. I'd go for Saka and Bailey. Going for Mount, not particularly keen on going for a Chelsea attacker yet until I see what Chelsea do in the season. I'm more keen on, because of Arsenal's pre-season, how they've been compared to Chelsea's. They look more promising. And it's a different circumstance, obviously, in pre-season, but it's just how I've looked at it from how both teams have played, and Arsenal have looked much more better in terms of Chelsea have.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I do like Mason Mount. I think he's one of the better 8 million options, but I just can't fit him in really. I prefer to go with Saka or a Luis Diaz over Mount anyway. And then Fad Z says Edison, Gabriel, or Ramsdale Walker. That's tough. Probably Ramsdale one Walker, but it depends if Man City sign a fullback or not. If they don't, I think Walker becomes a really good option at 5 million. If they do, then obviously you'll have to wait and see, guys. I think the press conferences are tomorrow. I think when we find out with the press conferences, if Pep says something like, I'm happy with my fullbacks, then maybe I think Walker becomes a great option. But we'll come on to your questions in a sec, guys, because obviously I've just read out my team. We are going to move on to Jordan's team now. So if you guys can see on the screen, that is what the team I'm going with, 5-3-2. And yeah, I'm quite happy. I say about 85% is locked. There's one or two players, that I am a bit skeptical on still. Maybe Reece James I could take out. Martinelli still for Saka, but we'll have to wait and see. For anyone that's just new, that's just joined, please, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we're trying to get to 400 subs next. That is the target. And also, if you do enjoy this type of content, guys, don't forget to smash the like button because it really helps our channel grow and it lets the videos to be seen more around YouTube. So a like really helps us out. And also, if you like what you see, subscribe because we have a ton of content to drop this season. But yeah, Jordan, the floor is yours. Let's bring up your team next.
Okay.
Talk us through and why you went with them players as well.
Okay, so as you can see, I've went with a different formation to Haas's. Mine is a 4-4-2. And to begin with, we will start with my goalkeeper, who is Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Now, there's two reasons why I've picked Mendy as my goalkeeper choice. The first reason is the way that Chelsea's fixtures run. They have really good fixtures to start off with in the first 5 because they're against Everton in the first. There is Tottenham, which is probably the hardest one out of the 5, but then they got Leeds, Leicester, and then Southampton afterwards. And the second reason also is because in my defence, I don't have any Chelsea like Reece James or Chilwell. or Koulibaly. I'm not too confident, as I mentioned earlier, about Chelsea's defence. So that's why I opted for Mendy, just so I can cover Chelsea in the goalkeeping position rather than in defence, as I will reveal for the rest of my team how it works. It works about better that way because Mendy is 5 mil goalkeeper. If I was to get like a Reece James and a Chilwell who are 6 mil, it doesn't really work out for my team. As you can see from my budget, there's nothing in the bank, and the team value is £100 million. So
Also, Jordan,
yeah,
sorry for interrupting, but
that's okay.
it's just been confirmed Cucurella has joined Chelsea for 50 million, and it's agreed. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted out. So yes, guys, Cucurella is now a Chelsea player. Does that change? Does that change anything? Does that make Chelsea a better defensive team? Does that change anything for you, or are you still happy with the one? You think one Chelsea defender is the way to go?
I think I'm still happy. I think I'll stick to my guns with this one and just wait and see. It might bite me in the back come the season when it starts, but yeah, I think I'll roll with just the Chelsea goalkeeper in terms of the Chelsea assets I've gone for. I won't look to the defence yet until I see how they are. Despite the recent or latest news that you just announced, I'm just going to stick with Mendy for the moment.
All right. What's the back line like then?
Okay, so the back line is similar to Haas's apart from two players, but Cancelo and Trent, obviously, we spoke about what Haas spoke about in his team, so I won't go too much detail into those two. So my other two defenders are Trippier, who has Nottingham Forest home as their first fixture. And the reason why I picked Trippier is because of his price, as he is a 5 mil defender. And in terms of options for my defense, there wasn't really much to pick from. I didn't really want to go for a 4.5 because originally I did have Johnny in that position, but I wanted to go for someone that was more like attack minded when he's in the defensive role. And Trippier, for me, last season he fit well right into his position in Newcastle when he was transferred over to the club. It's unfortunate he got injured during the season. There is a risk for that also to reoccur in this season, but I do like him as a pick for my defence to start off the season with, especially with the fixtures Newcastle have. They do have two difficult fixtures. They do go against Man City in Game Week 3 and then Liverpool in Game Week 5, but they do have Nottingham Forest in the first game week at home, and then they have Brighton and obviously Man City, and then after Man City they have Wolves. So their fixtures are a bit of a hard to easy switch, but he'll probably be rotated when obviously they play Man City and Liverpool. But yeah, that is who I've gone for in my third position in defence. So my last player in defence that I've gone for is Zinchenko, who was newly transferred from Man City to Arsenal. The reason for bringing in Zinchenko into my team is purely from Arsenal's pre-season matches. Like, Zinchenko has been really, really good in just arriving at the club. He's made a massive impact already. I mean, with the link up with Jesus as well, who's from Man City too. These two share a good connection and a chemistry between one another. And I do think that will flourish in this new season when it starts. And the run of Arsenal fixtures that they have as well, again, it's really good. They have Crystal Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, and then Aston Villa. And the price for Zinchenko is the same. He is 5 mil, so he's not too expensive, but he's not too cheap either. But he's just in the middle in terms of the price bracket, which is good. And yeah, that is my back four in my defense.
Okay. I like the back four. Zinchenko is obviously interesting. which was a bit different to mine. What do you think of the midfield four? Because obviously I've seen you've got Mahrez in there. Talk to us about Mahrez and the reason why you've decided to go with him.
With Mahrez, it's an interesting one because obviously I want to go different in the team because obviously most of I say all the players were over 10% ownership, apart from Mahrez, who is 5.7% owned. And from watching Liverpool Man City's Community Shield match, there was times where I was just looking at Man City players who were getting chances, who was getting involved more, etc. And I did like Mahrez, the way he was involved in games where he had chances to shoot and had chances to like get involved up front.
Mm-hmm.
I did have someone else in that position beforehand, and I think that was Saka. But then I realised I got Jesus, so I don't think I want to have too much attacking in terms of Arsenal. So I wanted to go a bit different and go for Mahrez, who was low owned as well, because if he does get a return, it means it helps my rank a lot as well, because no one really owns him. And I think he'll be more involved in matches now, more nailed, now that a lot of Man City players have left and been obviously transferred. So Mahrez becomes more of a viable option, similar to Grealish as well. Man City's fixtures as well, still great. They got West Ham. Obviously, this might be their toughest one out of the 5. But after that, they have Bournemouth, newly promoted team. And then Newcastle might be a little bit more tougher. And then Crystal Palace. And then they play newly promoted team, Nottingham Forest. So Man City's run of their first 5 fixtures are looking good on paper. But it's all dependent on how many minutes Mahrez plays in matches. And hopefully he starts against West Ham.
Yeah, I do think he'll start. I do like the Mahrez pick because obviously there's some people in the chat. Obviously, I brought it up saying, could you go with Saka? Is he a better option because he's potentially more nailed and he's on penalties as well? I think with Mahrez, it's one of those plays that if it goes right, it could go. You could be laughing kind of thing because Mahrez is one of those players that he's always you'd want to have him in your team if you knew he can start.
Yeah.
I do like him, but there's always that worry with Mahrez and any Man City player, if we're being honest, will they play? It's the same as Foden, because I think Foden is also a really good option, and I think he's one that I'm actually considering myself, but not for game week 1. But yeah, that's the problem with City, I think. Brian also agrees with you. Think Mahrez is an interesting shout. So some people agreeing with you there, but so Mahrez is in your team, and I also see you've gone with 2 8 million midfielders, and we've got a comment here from Spaghetti and Beans says, "Is it too much of a risk to not go for an 8 million midfielder?" Well, you've gone with 2. I haven't got any in my team at the moment, and that is what we'll come on to. What's your decision of going with 2 8 million midfielders? Because I see you've gone with Mahrez and Diaz. Are you locked on that two 8 million midfielder spots, or are you willing to change it, or are you set on that?
No, I think I'm absolutely set on having 2 8 million midfielders because, as we've seen from the price reveals, how many players there are in that 8 million bracket is a lot. Like you have Maddison, you got Mount, you got Foden, you've got
Saka,
Mahrez and Saka. There's so many 8 million midfielders in that slot that fit into that. You kind of want at least one spare in case you want to switch out, depending on the fixtures difficulty when they swing and switch around to a player that has easy fixtures when the harder ones are the ones where you have your player picked in that midfielder spot. So it is easier to rotate an 8 million midfielder in that role. And especially with 2 that I've gone for, because Luis Diaz, I'm going to keep for most of the season. So I'm not really going to switch him out anytime soon. So that's why I went for a second 8 million midfielder position, because Mahrez will probably be swapped out every now and then for another player, when obviously if he doesn't get returns as much as another 8 million midfielder would get. So it just gives me that freedom to play around with an 8 million midfielder spot if I want to choose another player like Madison or Mount, for example.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. That's interesting because it does give you the chance to, if let's say Mahrez doesn't do well and you want to bring in Mason Mount, who just bagged in a brace in game week 1 against Everton, you could do Mahrez to Mount, and then yeah, it gives you a bit of flexibility in that way. Obviously, I've spoke about Bailey looking good in preseason. I've also see you've included him.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your team is pretty similar to mine. Obviously, Jesus and Haaland both up top. Let us know in the comments, guys. Has anyone gone with Harry Kane over Haaland? What's your thoughts on that debate? Are you set on Haaland over Kane as well?
Yeah, I think I am settled over Haaland over Kane. I mean, from watching his last game in the Community Shield match against Liverpool, we saw that he did have chances which he didn't really finish properly. And when he was making runs for Man City, no one was really looking out for him. I just think he just needs time to adjust and establish himself with the rest of the Man City players, because obviously he's not going to be a amazing, incredible, 100% accurate player to start off with in the season in the Premier League, because this is obviously his first season here. He is going to miss chances like he did in that game, but there is going to be moments where he's going to score and
Yeah,
obviously get a lot of returns. I mean, the fact he got 2 good chances in that game means that he's an opportunist. He's going to get something. That's a good
yeah.
sign. It's not a bad sign.
Sorry, Haaland had an XG of 1.6 in that game. So the chances he had, he was expected to score, 1.6 goals. So his XG was really good in that game. He on another day he could have easily scored a goal or two even. Interestingly enough, Haaland's ownership has actually come down about 10% since that Community Shield game. I don't know if you've seen. He was closer to like 60%, but now let me just check Haaland's ownership. But I know it's come down quite a bit. And Darwin Nunes' surprise obviously has gone up since the Community Shield.
Yeah, Haaland's ownership is
Haaland's at
46.
46%. So he was
Yeah,
at 57%, I believe, before Community Shield. So about a 10% decrease for that ownership for Haaland. Let us know, guys, who you guys think is a better option for Game Week 1, Haaland or Kane. We've got Shashwat here in the chat. He says, yes, Kane over Haaland. Also offers better fixtures in Game Week 1, 3, and 4. What I will say to that is, who are you planning to captain in Game Week 1? Because if you're planning to captain Salah, and let's say Haaland does score against West Ham. Let's say Haaland gets a goal against West Ham. Are you going to panic and want to bring in Haaland for Game Week 2 when he's got Bournemouth, which is another really good fixture? So at the moment, I'm on Haaland, and I think that's what I'm pretty locked on that. But yeah, Kane also obviously a very good option, but I think I'm still siding towards Haaland at the moment. Elliot
yeah.
says Kane over Haaland for him. SK, welcome to the stream. He says pretty set on my side. Only decision left is Sterling and Cash, or Mount and Perisic. I'll probably go with Mount and Perisic for me.
Oh, I said I sort of siding to Sterling and Cash.
It's more differential because Sterling's not.
Yeah, he's not highly owned because obviously his price is difficult to fit him in.
Yeah, that's why I'd go with. I don't know how you'd fit Sterling in unless you're willing to go a bit different with the other players. But Sterling is going to be a good option, I think, this season still. Just for Game Week 1, it might be hard to get him in, but later down the line, I think he probably will be one of the better attackers at Chelsea. Oscar says, "What's good, lads? Are you rating teams?" No, we are not rating teams. We've done that already. If you go see our last video, we did do a team rating video. If you want to watch that back after the stream, this is the team selection for Game Week 1. Shashwat says he's going to captain Salah for 1 and 2, Jesus for 3, and Kane or Jesus for 4. Okay. Well, I'll have to see how Salah does, but I am actually planning on captaining Haaland potentially for Game Week 2. Because obviously Haaland's got Bournemouth, which looks like a good fixture. But yeah, Salah's always a good captain, I guess, for most weeks, And Salah, obviously, he does have Man United, I think, Game Week 3, so that'll be a bit interesting to see what people do then. So what was you going to say?
I I like the idea of Jesus captaining in Game Week 3 because that's what I was thinking to do as well. Because obviously he has Bournemouth. I think he'll have a really good game against Bournemouth. I think that's maybe hat-trick worthy of Jesus there.
Yeah, Bournemouth, I do think they'll struggle this season. And yeah, they could be the team that we look to target against. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see with that. But yeah, so that is your team, I guess. 4-4-2. Are you pretty locked now? You say you're pretty happy with your team?
Yeah, I think over the past days, I haven't really changed my team much. I think previously I have switched out players non-stop, like Zinchenko, Trippier, Bailey, Mahrez, and so forth. But now it's whittled down to just literally changing Mahrez from Saka. And pretty much the team has stayed the same the past 2 days. I haven't really made any different changes to players. I think I've really set myself on this team, unless there's any surprising events that occur
Yeah.
onwards from today and to the deadline stream.
Okay, fair enough. For anyone that is just joining, guys, don't forget to smash the like button because it really helps the channel out. We really appreciate all your comments and your support. Also, share this video on your socials if you can. If you know someone that likes FPL, do recommend this video to them. And also, don't forget to subscribe as always. Shashwat says he's FPL SB14 from Twitter. If you guys want to follow our Twitter, actually, I'll just put this up. It's the FPL Duo on Twitter. Follow us on there, and you can chat to us on there if you want to. Got a comment him from Forum. Go Kane over Haaland. You have Mahrez anyway, and no Spurs player. I think this one's for you, Jordan.
I'm not too keen on going for Kane, if I'm honest, because obviously we don't know if Mahrez is going to start for one thing. Well, he'll most likely start in Game Week 1.
I think he'll start.
But it's just that just in case sort of thing. Because if I go Kane over Haaland and Haaland bags and Kane doesn't, for example, that's really going to hurt because obviously we've mentioned Haaland's ownership is 46%. Meanwhile, I think Kane's drags just over 20%.
Yeah.
So, in terms of ownership, it would hurt if Haaland was to score and Kane wasn't to score, just to that circumstance. I'm not saying he won't because it is Southampton and Kane. You would expect goals from Kane, especially from Southampton for Spurs. But yeah, I do understand that I have no Spurs players, but it's also difficult to fit any in. Like, for example, Son is too expensive. The only real one I could go for is Kulusevski, who's 8 mil, but I don't really want to replace him for like Luis Diaz or Mahrez. And the last option is Kane, but I want to take a opportunity at Haaland instead of Kane. I think. With
me, it comes down to captaincy option. I think because Game Week 1, I'm pretty certain I'm going to captain Mo Salah, and no one else is. I'm not considering anyone else other than Salah for Game Week 1 captain. Game Week 2, I want to captain Haaland because he's got Bournemouth. So that's why I've decided I'm not going to go Harry Kane. For me, as I've thought about it more, it's quite, I'm pretty certain I'm not going to have Kane because I'm not going to captain Kane until, if I did have Kane, I wouldn't captain him because he's got Game Week 3. I think he's got Chelsea, hasn't he, Kane? Or Game Week 2? Game Week 2, Kane has Chelsea.
Yes.
So I wouldn't want to captain him against them. So that's why for me, my mind's been made up. Salah Game Week 1, Haaland Game Week 2, and then I'll worry about it later with any free transfers I have potentially.
Yeah.
Well, it was Game Week 2, innit, that Harry Kane's got Chelsea.
I do think so. I can double check.
Yeah, I'll let you check that. So I think Game Week 2 or Game Week 3 are just off the top. SK says, joining the league, any prize for winner? We will do a prize, probably, let's see who does win it. But we will definitely have something for the winner this season. And hopefully we get quite a lot of people that do join the league. If you guys haven't joined the league already, if you do want to join, the code is actually in the top right-hand corner. It's B54P68FA. The code is also in the link below. and also there's an auto join link. So if you just click that link, you'll automatically join if you're signed into your FPL account. So do check that out as well if you guys can.
And yeah, Spurs do go against Chelsea in game week 2.
Oh, there you go. So if you don't want to captain Kane for game week 2, you don't want to captain him for game week 1 because I'm assuming you rather go Salah against Fulham. So when are you going to captain Kane if you do have him? Game week 3 potentially. That's the thing. Anyway, so that's your team, Jordan. 4-4-2. Let me go back to my team. For anyone that has just joined, this is my team at the moment now. I've gone with a 5-3-2. I've gone big at the back. But this team was what I was thinking about yesterday. This morning I woke up and as you do, you start tinkering, you start playing around if you could do something better. Then I realized I've got Neto on the bench at the moment, and I don't really like Neto on the bench because at 5.5 million, I feel like I'm not adding the value into my actual team, like using the money up in my first team. So what I could do is I could downgrade Neto to a 4.5 million, and that will give me another million. And with that million, I could do Martinelli up to Saka. And then if I downgrade Reece James to Trippier, that enables me to do it. So let me go show you on the FPL website what I've planned to do. So this is what I was thinking yesterday. And today morning, I've actually changed to this team. So let me bring it up for you. Can you guys see that? Yep. So at the moment, guys, this is currently the latest draft. So Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Kieran Trippier, and Perisic at the back. So I've took out Reece James and I put in Trippier. And then in the midfield 3, I've got Salah. And because I downgraded James and I downgraded the Neto spot, it lets me have a Saka, an 8 million spot. Because there's a lot of debate. Should you have an 8 million spot? So that that puts me in Saka, lets me have an option there, 8 million spot, and then also got Bailey, and then Jesus and Haaland up top. The only problem with this draft, I'd say, is no. Let me know what you guys think about this draft. What would you guys see the pros and cons? But I've put Saka in now, which is an 8 million spot, and Shaswat agrees. He thinks it looks better because Saka's in it. Foram says go Martinelli and save 2 million. Both are mids. Anyone can score. That's true, but Saka is also on penalties. Saka, as of last season, he was on penalties. So I assume he would carry on the same this season. And let me know what you guys think. Also, the reason I do have the Saka draft is, let's say I want a Mason Mount or I want a Foden or whoever. If I had this draft, I can't really upgrade because the money's all in the defense. Let's say Foden bangs in 2 goals against West Ham game week 1 and I want him for game week 2. I can't really do it. But with this draft, I can have Saka for game week 1 and then switch him to Foden for game week 2 potentially, and then Mount later, or Luis Diaz if I downgrade Robertson. So I think I am siding towards this draft, and it's also more optimal use of my money because then I don't have a Neto on the bench for 5.5 million. And at the moment I could go something like this. So that is where I'm at. What do you reckon, Jordan? Do you prefer A or B? If this was A, the difference is obviously James, Martinelli, and who else was it? Martinelli, James, and Saka. So Saka's come in. Do you prefer this draft?
Yeah, I preferred this draft on the screen, I think, because as you said, with the 8 million spot there for Saka, you got more options to replace players with at that range. And with the other one, you don't have that flexibility of the 8 million midfielder spot. You would have to tinker with the defense with transfers before you could fill that 8 million void spot. And then you would have to take more steps towards the 8 million midfielder. But with this one, you don't. You've already got it there. Saka is ready to be transferred out if you want to another person easily with one transfer. Whereas the last draft, you would have to make at least 2 for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, I got a comment here saying James and Neto can outscore Trippier and Perisic. While that is true, I also think Saka can outscore. But who did I have in midfield? I had Bailey and Martinelli. So Saka could outscore Martinelli also, and Saka is more of a nailed choice. But I do think Martinelli is a good option anyway, because I do like him at 6 million. But I just think, like I said, the flexibility point. Saka allows me to do Foden, to do Mount, to do, Madison if I want to. And then, yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. But let us know, guys, what you do think of both our drafts. Let me just bring up the first draft I had. So this was a draft originally I had, and I plan to swap it to that. And I do think that looks pretty good. But as always, I'll probably wake up tomorrow and I might change my mind again. So we'll have to wait and see. Jordan's draft, I'll just bring it up very quickly. That's the 4-4-2. But yeah, guys, let us know what you both think of our teams. And if you have any questions, guys, in the chat, do drop them in below. And we'll try our best to answer them. Do you want to take some comments, Jordan?
Yes. Got a comment from Faram who says, I have a feeling 3-3 is good to go. Nico and Patterson both 4 mil and are good bench options with Andreas 4.5.
I just think there's just so much value in defense with 4.5 million and even 5 million. I don't know if we need to go cheap on defense, because as you see with my team, I've gone very big at the back, and I think there's a lot of value there. So I wouldn't be. I think that, you should spend more of your money in the back, because I just think there's a lot of good options. Like Robertson gets close to 200 points a season. So does Trent. Cancelo, we know what he could do. Reece James, we also know what he could do if he's fit and firing. And Perisic, he's a bit of a wild card, obviously, because his first season. But we do know he's a very attacking fullback that likes to get forward. And in that Conte system, he could do very well. Also got a comment from Highman10. Your point of view on Perisic. At the beginning, everyone is hyped about him. But with game week approaching, many people are having second thoughts. I think Ryan will start a left wing back for Spurs. I think he means Ryan Sessegnon. I hear what you're saying about Perisic with the hype that he had in game week 1. And sorry, when the game launched. But I think I'll be very surprised if Perisic doesn't start ahead of Ryan Sessegnon. I think Perisic will start. I think I was getting a bit of cold feet on Perisic, if I'm being honest, like a couple of weeks ago. But Perisic played in the last preseason game, and that's given me confidence again to get him in. I will wait and see what Conte has to say in his press conference. If he says any doubts about Perisic or he's not fit or anything, then yeah, I'll take him out. But as of now, I'm pretty certain Perisic should play ahead of Sessegnon. Both drafts have 5 at the back. Nope. That's not. Well, Jordan has a.
I think she means your 2 drafts.
Oh no. I see what you mean. I forgot. I didn't realize that's what they meant. Yeah. I just think 5 at the back for me is the way to go. I don't see myself going with the back 3 because I want Robertson, I want Trent, I want Cancelo. Reece James is a good option as well. Trippier. There's Perisic. There's so many good defenders. I just think there's more value there than midfielders, personally. But as you guys know, there was also good midfielders. But yeah, I think big at the back for me. I'm pretty nailed on that. Like I'm going with a big at the back, 5 at the back, pretty much. Jordan, I'll let you take this one.
FPL 3 says pick one, Perisic or James. I'll probably pick.
Who you go?
Reece James.
Reece James, fair enough. Yeah. At the moment, I'll probably go. Yeah, Reece James is a better pick, obviously. Yeah, I think Reece James is a better pick, but for budget reasons, I was thinking of downgrading him to Trippier. Shashwat says, who's the best 4.5 keeper for the first 8 game weeks?
Ooh, arguably Raya, I would say, or Messia would be the two best goalkeepers for the first 8 game
I think
weeks.
I like Sanchez at Brighton as well. I think Sanchez could be decent as well if you guys want a 4.5 million goalie. So yeah, maybe Sanchez at Brighton. I think he's decent. Would you consider Leicester double 4 million goalkeeper rotation to free up funds? We did discuss this earlier on in the stream. I personally wouldn't be really up for it. Do you want the Leicester defense cover? Because Leicester don't have great fixtures to start with, and I just think for an extra 0.5 or even an extra million, you could get to someone like Ramsdale, or I think the goalkeeper pricing this year is a bit better. So I personally wouldn't probably go there with the Leicester double 4 million goalkeeper rotation, just because I'm not a fan of Leicester's fixtures, and even the defense, I'm not so sure if I'm confident on them keeping many clean sheets.
Yeah, I agree. Leicester last season didn't really keep many clean sheets, and to start the season off really well, you really want to go for a goalkeeper that you expect will get a lot of clean sheets, because you won't normally transfer out your goalkeepers during the season until really late on. So it's probably better to go safe with a Ramsdale or a Mendy, Edison, one of those goalkeepers. They're a bit more expensive, obviously, but I don't think it's necessary to free up funds from having a Leicester goalkeeper at 4 mil at the cost of getting no clean sheets from him, because that will cost you obviously the rank. Whereas if you had like a Ramsdale and Arsenal don't concede any goals in like 8 game weeks in a row, then you're missing out on the points from having a goalkeeper that's more expensive rather than a goalkeeper where you're freeing up more funds, but at the cost of not having the same amount or more of clean sheets from him.
Also, with Leicester, for example, if I look at their fixtures, they've got Brentford game week 1, which ain't too bad. Then they have Arsenal game week 2. Then they've got Southampton. Then they've got Chelsea. And then they've got Man United. So they play Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United in their first 5 game weeks. And that's, for me, the reason why I wouldn't really want to go with Leicester. I don't see them keeping many clean sheets in that first 5 or 6 games, personally, if I'm being honest. I could be wrong, obviously. But yeah, that's our thoughts on the Leicester team. Someone also says, Chrono in the chat says, we're not covering the Spurs attack, though. If Son or Kane scores a hat trick, it's head in hands. We can also say the same about Haaland. If Haaland scores a hat trick against Bournemouth game week 2, it's the same thing. Because you can't have all the premiums, guys. That's the other thing. You can't have every single player. So you either have to make compromises on Haaland or Kane or Salah or KDB, because KDB could score a hat trick or a brace in one of the games. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it. It's hard to have everyone, but we've got to see what we do have. And with this, we have Robertson, Trent, Cancelo, James, Salah. You've got Haaland as well. Martinelli's a decent pick. So yeah, I think the teams, I'm quite happy with the team. Obviously, like I mentioned, I will probably make 1 or 2 changes before the deadline stream on Friday, which we do plan to go live. So if you guys are wanting to watch some content on deadline stream, don't forget to join us, guys. I've got to take this comment actually from Brian. He says, I don't think it's necessarily wasting money because Neto and Bailey rotate well for 8 weeks. Well, that's what I thought. But when I looked at both the fixtures, if I do have Neto, I wouldn't play him for game week until game week 4, potentially. So let's just bring up their fixtures. So if you guys can see my screen, let me just go on transfers. Let me put in Neto for now. Yeah, Neto's in. You look at Bailey's fixtures, who I plan to keep. He's got Bournemouth, Everton, and Palace. Can you see that properly? I'll zoom in.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
better.
clear? Is that better?
Yeah, that's
So yeah,
better.
Bailey's got Bournemouth, Everton, and Palace, and then West Ham in his first 4. So for Bailey owners, you'll probably play him in those first 3. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. Why not?
And then with Neto, he's got Leeds, Fulham, and Tottenham. So obviously Tottenham's a tough game, but for these first 2, you rather play Bailey against Bournemouth than Neto against Leeds. And then obviously I plan to make transfers around game week 4. So I just think if I did have Neto on the bench, why am I going to have a 5.5 million player on the bench when I'm not even going to play him for the first 3 game weeks realistically? And that's why I've gone without Neto as a bench option. I just think I'll just play Bailey for the first 3 weeks and use that money to get in a Saka. And that's why I've probably decided to go with this, just to explain my my decisions. But yeah, let me just pull it back to our team here. Yeah, guys, let us know what you're going with actually. But yeah, we'll wrap the stream up soon. We've been going for an hour now. It's been a good stream. First team selection of the season. There's still obviously 37 left after this. Yeah, man, we're about 2 days away now from the deadline. And it looks like it's going to be another good season. Excited now. And yeah, our teams are pretty much locked as well. So yeah, we'll wrap the stream up, guys. If you also have any last comments, do drop them in as well. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, regarding anything?
That pretty much covers all. Just going back on Chrono's comment, I think we can rule out that Son is an option in the team because we can't fit Salah, Jesus, Haaland, and Son really in your team without having a good 15-player squad. Just putting that out because the Son's price when it came out, we were hoping it was 11.5, but it came out as 12 mil, which sort of isolated Son to be too expensive to have 3 premiums in your team, but also with having 3 premiums, it's pointless having that extra third because obviously the captaincy picks, you're only going to switch between 2 of them. So having 3 is a bit too much and a waste of money. So you do have to make sacrifices, as Haas said earlier, on who you pick for players. And I think a lot of people have sacrificed Spurs in their squads, as I've seen a lot of drafts where there's not any Spurs players in most teams. It's mostly revolved around Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, and maybe Aston Villa, and Wolves. But you have to either go with Kane instead of Haaland or Son instead of Salah, which is crazy when you think not having Salah in your team, obviously, instead of Son.
I have seen some 3 medium drafts, obviously the 3 premiums. But the problem with that, obviously, you've got to make a bit more, you've got to make maybe a bit more adjustments that you don't really want to make when you have 3 premium players in your team. But I think 2 premium for me is definitely the way to go. I think 3 may be too much, but I've seen some pretty good drafts actually with 3 premium. So maybe you could go with it. Let us know if you are going with the 3 premium draft, guys. And is anyone actually willing to go without Salah? Because if they want Son, and I'm assuming you want Haaland or Kane, are you willing to go without Salah, guys? Because I'm definitely not. A few more comments here from Foram, Perisic to Nico, and Neto to Grealish, Barnes. It could be decent. I'm just not as bullish on Grealish, if I'm being honest. I've seen him play in a Community Shield game. I know that's just a Community Shield game, but I just think I prefer other options ahead of Grealish. Even at Man City, I prefer even a Mahrez, a Foden. I think then over Grealish, and also I think Perisic is going to be a good option if he starts, and I do expect him to play. Maybe not 90 minutes every game, but yeah, I think he's still a good option.
With Barnes, it could be good because he is 7 mil, so he's not in the 8 mil bracket. So instead of Maddison, you could go cheaper with Harvey Barnes to save that 1 mil. But besides that, I agree with Husk with Grealish. I didn't really like the way he played.
And it's also with Leicester, they don't really have good fixtures, as we've also discussed. I'm not a fan of their fixture run, especially for the first 4 or 5 games. But yeah, we will wrap the stream up here. I think I've just got to quickly we've got to quickly put our code up on the league because we have had quite a few people join our league actually this year. So obviously this is the first season pretty much that we are made the league from scratch. So if you guys want to join the league, there is a prize for probably at the end of the season that we'll have to come and think about. Me and you, Jordan, will probably decide on a prize for the winner. And if you do want to be in a chance to win that, do join the FPL Duo League. The code is on the screen at the moment. We've got quite a lot of managers in here. If you want to join, also the code in the description below and the auto join link. And also follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, the FPL Duo, so you don't miss any time we go live, because we do go live quite a lot. So if you want to keep up to date with that, do follow us on there. And we also have a chat on there as well if you want to tweet us your thoughts or anything. And is that everything else I've covered, Jordan?
Yes, that's pretty much.
Also, I've got to say, guys, actually drop a like on the stream and also subscribe if you are new. I think we're very close. I just want to say a thank you, actually. I want to say a thank you to all the people that have just subscribed to us during this video. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate your support. And yeah, we do have a lot of content to come this season. We plan to stream pretty regularly, and we'll have a lot of these videos out for you guys throughout the season. So yeah, if you do enjoy what you see, don't forget to smash the like button, guys. It really, really helps us grow the channel.
We just got the last few comments just to quickly read out. We got a comment from Faram who says Nketiah will start, not Martinelli. Check out Arsenal's sites.
Or I'll be very surprised if that is, because Martinelli's played most of the preseason games.
And
yeah, I'll be surprised. I don't know about that, unless he's injured or something and I've missed it.
I'd be annoyed if Nketiah starts because
I
took him out.
I don't think Nketiah will start. I'll be very surprised. But yeah, yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap the stream up. I just have to say, guys, don't forget to join us, as Brian says, on the deadline stream, and that will be on Friday at 5:30 UK time. Deadline stream. Join us on that one, because as Brian says, it will probably be chaos. Last minute tinkering before the deadline should be good. But yeah, it should be a good stream. Hopefully it's a good turnout. Thank you to everyone that has dropped a comment on the chat. Thank you to everyone that's dropped a like as well on the stream. And yeah, guys, we hope to see you guys soon. This has been the team selection video. So just before we go, that's my team on the screen there. I've gone with a 5-3-2. And then Jordan's gone with a 4-4-2, and that's his team there. So yeah, and we hope you enjoyed the team selection. So do join us on Friday. And yeah, guys, we are out of here. Take care, and we hope everyone has a good one. Yeah. Peace.
See you soon, guys. Take care. See you Friday.
See you Friday, guys.